Hey, this is Ajabeon Stinson from Grace Christian Academy, and this is the No Playbook podcast.
Hey, so this is the podcast featuring the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from East Tennessee. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at No Playbook Pod. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Joining me today on the podcast is Ajabeon Stinson, an eighth grader. In all honesty, I don't have many eighth graders on the podcast, but this kid absolutely had to feature him. He's an eighth grader, played up for the high school team at Grace Christian Academy. He was actually featured on ESPN's Sportscenter Next this past football season, as he was just killing it there at Grace Christian. So he's absolutely a fantastic athlete to watch here in East Tennessee. So I wanted to have him on the podcast just to kind of, learn a little bit more about him and what he's looking forward to as he's going to be starting his recruiting process very soon, actually, the way they do it now. This episode is sponsored by Stinnett Collision, locations in Maryville and Sevier County. If you are in need of automotive repair, give them a call, Stinnett Collision. I'll get to Ajabeon Stinson right after this. Sit tight.
Hi, I'm Zach Stinnett, third-generation owner of Stinnett Collision. As a proud supporter of Tennessee athletics, we know that every game counts. When a collision puts you out of play, we're here to get you back in the game. Family owned since 1965, Stinnett Collision now has locations in Maryville and Sevierville. With double the space and a team of certified technicians, we'll tackle your repairs and get you back on the road in no time. Don't let a collision sideline you. Visit Stinnett Collision today.
Gotcha. So, thank you so much for reaching out, connecting with me, and wanting to come on the podcast. So, am I right? You're an eighth grader, but you played up this past season for high school football?
Yes, sir. So I played high school ball at Grace Christian Academy this year for football.
Talk about what that experience was like as an eighth grader.
It was a great experience. I had a lot of great athletes around me, like Weston Edmondson, Jackson Coffey, my big brother Terry on Thomas. He rushed for 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards, and I just knew I wasn't going to get a lot of burn on offense. So I just had to produce on defense and on special teams, and I loved it. It was a challenge, but I still had to face the challenge. At first, I didn't really want to play because I didn't really want to take all the. I know how hard it was going to be to take all these high school hits, and I got used to it real quick, and it just was good from there.
So how did they approach you about even joining the team, though?
So I played at Grace Middle School my seventh grade year, and it was pretty easy for me playing middle school. So one day, my coach, after practice, he was asking me, do I want to take on a challenge to try to play high school ball next year? And I was like, I want to take on a challenge. I was 130 pounds before the high school season, but I bulked up to 150, so I gained 20 pounds before the season. And I just stayed in the weight room.
That's great, man. So you're dedicating yourself, on and off the field.
Yes, sir.
What is that training like for you off the football field, like weight room and speed training, that kind of stuff?
Weight room, I try to I stay working out with my brother a lot. We work out together. We both play the same position, but we have two different skill sets. He'd rather run somebody over, but I'd rather beat somebody with my speed. So I just say I work out five times a week because with this new JUCO eligibility and stuff, it's gonna be harder for high school players to get recruited. So I just try to work out as much as I can now.
Yeah. Well, now as you look ahead to recruiting, obviously you're a pretty young dude, but have you already started thinking about how to dip your toe in and get some attention from college coaches?
Yes, sir. I've already gotten attention from Austin P and a bunch of small colleges in Tennessee from just my kick return from that, and a lot of coaches love that.
Excellent. So what is going to be your approach when you look ahead, how to get your name and your film in front of those guys? How do you do that?
I say I'll just go to a lot of camps this year because I've been invited to Memphis, Georgia State, and a lot of them small Tennessee camps, and I'm just gonna go produce at those camps because a lot of coaches want to see my speed. I run I run a 4.54 right now, trying to get it down, but a lot of coaches want to see that in person, and so I'm just gonna try to showcase it at camps and other national showcases.
Yeah. So the weight room is where you're putting on some muscle and strength. What do you do to make yourself faster and work on that 40 time?
I've been running track since I could walk, so like my speed became natural, but like I've been like working on it. Like I run with ankle weights on sometimes, just so I can feel like when I take those off, it's gonna be like light. And I work out with Coach Cedric Houston, that's our running back coach. He was a really good running back, and he like teaches me how to run a 40 and all that type of stuff, all the tricks.
Yeah. So at Grace Christian, do the D1 coaches work with you guys?
Yeah, sometimes the D1 coaches they've been working with us more because we don't have a trainer and we're looking for a new one.
Yeah. Is that Dunstan Kendrick that works with you?
I think so.
Cool.
I'm
Now, what
not for
about your
sure.
other sports history? Like you said, you did track for many years. What else?
Yeah, I do track and I play basketball, but I probably stopped playing basketball after this year, just focus on track and football. With track, I've been to the Junior Olympics 7 times in a row so far. I just hope I just keep going to Junior Olympics and that, and maybe someday I'll be turned into the Olympics.
Excellent. So obviously, a very cool thing about you is that you were featured on ESPN's, was it SportsCenter Next? Is that the segment?
Yeah, with Sportscenter next, and ESPN got a hold of it, Max Preps, 247 Sports, and a lot of social media just started posting it.
How did that happen? Like from the moment that you ran that kickback, what's the process to actually getting it on the air with ESPN?
Well, I knew it going viral. So like one of my friends recorded it for me. Thankfully, I dropped it at first, and then I returned it for 102 yards. So like right after the game, I put the caption that he's just an eighth grader, and then that's when 2 days later it went viral. Sports Center commented on my post, and they like to use the post, and then I think a day later they posted it. Like I got out of school early that day to like go to the high school because we had another football game. Like all the people, I didn't even know it got posted until like all my friends started showing me up at the high school, and it was just exciting news for me.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool. I'm sure that was
So,
a lot of fun. Um, so what about a coach or another player that you've worked with in the past that's kind of inspired you to push yourself a little bit harder?
I say my brother and Weston, because Weston he's been a role model for me since I've been at Grace. He's been there like his whole life, and he's now going to ETSU, and like he really inspires me. And my brother, he always pushes me harder in practice, like because we both play the same position, so like he always pushes me to go harder. And or a coach wise, I say my old basketball coach, Jared Minot. When I lost my father, he always like pushed me harder and just like my father wouldn't want me doing this, and like he always like held me to a higher standard.
It's great to have those guys. Weston came on the podcast. I've met him a couple times. Very good dude.
Yes,
Great quarterback too.
yes, sir.
So you said he's signed with ETSU. I don't know that I knew that.
Yes, he signed with ETSU like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Excellent. Who are your favorite college or pro athletes?
Um, I really like Jeremiah Smith right now. He's doing good as a freshman. And like if I compare my running back game to his DeAndre Swift, everybody said I have the same running style as him. So I try to watch him as much and see what I can learn from him.
So specifically, your goal is to play running back.
I could transform into a slot wide receiver. That's what a lot of coaches want me to play. So, but I want to like try to play both.
Yeah. What about one thing that very few people know about you?
Um, my favorite food is crab legs and I eat ranch with my steak. And like a lot of people think it's weird, but I think it's good.
Oh, that's unacceptable.
It's good.
Now, so a question everybody gets is one unforgettable sports memory. I think we've heard about one for you. What about as a spectator? Do you have one?
Um, Probably Vanderbilt being in Alabama. My cousin goes to Vanderbilt, so it was a shock for me. Like I did not expect that to happen whatsoever. And like that day was just my whole family was just so happy because like Alabama's a super great program, and like losing to Vanderbilt, like Vanderbilt's really on the as I see like they're really on the come up. They just beat Tennessee in basketball, their whole like program is going to come up.
Yeah. Who would be your dream school like place to sign with and play football?
Um, I want to stay closest home as I can. So that's when my recruiting process starts. That's where like I want to stay like not like too far away. Like the farthest I'm going is about 6 or 7 hours. So I want to stay to like Tennessee, Mississippi State, or like Georgia or Alabama. One of
Yeah.
those schools. Stay in
So
the
that's
SEC.
a big question I ask folks a lot when they're kind of choosing where they want to go is, you got to start looking at those things like academics, of course, proximity to home, coaching style, early playing time. Even with some of these folks, they're looking at NIL packages. There's just kind of a
Yes,
lot
sir.
to weigh.
Yes, sir.
That's great, man. I'm going to put this together. I'll have it out in a few weeks. And again, I really appreciate you reaching out.
Thanks. Yeah. Hope
Best
you
of
have a
luck,
great
dude.
day.
See you, man. Thanks.